What is up, guys? Jeremy here from Noob Down Under, and yes, it is that time of week again, the time of week when we filter through all the news articles on the internet and pick out the best gaming news for you guys. In the background here we have some Crisis 3 gameplay. I've just received this game, been playing the hell out of it, multiplayer. I found it awesome. So if you like Crisis 3, drop a like for that. Now this week on the show we're going to be talking about, firstly, the PS4 reveal, which happened on the 20th. Then we're going to be talking about Bungie's new game, Destiny. There were some interesting articles on Kotaku that I found this week for that. And finally we're going to round off with a little bit of an update on the DayZ Standalone. Dean Hall did another blog this week and it was quite exciting. Bit of good development for you guys. So let's get started. Now the first article I want to talk about is sort of a roundup that Kotaku did about everything that happened at the PS4 reveal event. There, just give a brief overview of everything. I definitely recommend you check out the entire article, but I'm just going to pick out the things that I found interesting and relevant. And first of all, I want to list off all the games that they have confirmed for release with the PS4. The first one we have is Destiny, Bungie's new game. We're also going to see Watch Dogs, Drive Club, Killzone, Infamous Second Son, Knack, and a new Final Fantasy game made by Square Enix. So these are the titles we can expect to see at the release of the PS4 sometime in the fourth quarter this year. I would say probably November before Christmas. That's what a lot of the articles are saying. Now, whilst unfortunately we didn't actually get to see what the console looks like, and this was a great disappointment to many people, including myself, they did show us that it can render old man's heads. No, well basically this was the tech demo that they showed, demonstrating the increase in particles that the graphics engine will be using, and this is somewhat similar to medium to high-end PCs today. So if you're a PC user, you're probably not that impressed, but compared to the 2005 version of the console, we have seen an increase from 1500 to 15,000 particles that will be used within the graphical engine to render objects. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys was some screenshots of the Killzone game, which they used to show off the graphics. And as you can see, it's a dramatic improvement over the last version of the console, whilst it's not that impressive compared to PCs currently today. Now, the only thing we did get to see, the only piece of hardware we actually saw, and we only saw it for like 2 seconds, was the controller. The controller has been confirmed to have the touchpad. It has got a little bit of a different design. It looks a lot sleeker. As you can see here in this article, where the guy who actually touched the controller recommends that it is better. As you can see, the difference between the Sony PS3 controller and the Sony PS4 controller. And I definitely recommend you check that article out in the description if you want to find out more about that, or if you're a PS3 user. Now, finally, on the topic of the PS4, I want to talk about something that actually really I'm excited for, is that they have confirmed Watch Dogs. And there also was another trailer out at the PlayStation 4 event. I definitely recommend you guys go and have a look at that trailer. I found it awesome. Sort of a cyberpunk version of Grand Theft Auto, and I'm really, really looking forward to this game. And every trailer makes me more and more excited. Here's some other screenshots, and yes, it's really exciting. I mean, it was always going to be a next generation game. The graphics just look insane. So I definitely recommend you guys check that out. So those were all the things that I found interesting about the Sony PS4 reveal. Hopefully we'll get some more information sooner, and hopefully we'll see a picture of it. If you guys got any interesting information to share, don't be afraid to start a conversation in the comments section below. So the next thing I found interesting this week was a bit more information on a bit of a roundup of Bungie's next game, Destiny. If you don't know what Bungie are, they are the creators of the epic game Halo that really started the first-person shooter popularity. And they have a new game coming out called Destiny, and here is a little clip from the trailer that they released on the 18th.
The stories tell of a golden age long ago, when our civilization spanned the system. It was a bright and hopeful time, but it didn't last. The years that followed the collapse of the golden age were hard, but slowly we joined together to build a city beneath the traveler. And now we've begun to venture back into the wild, only to find that we're not alone. Strange and deadly creatures have occupied our old worlds, and they're pressing hard against the city, probing for a weakness, trying to stamp us out for good.
Now this is seriously what looks like to be a very intricate, maybe groundbreaking game. They have said, a lot of people have been calling it an MMO, and I would say, from what I've seen, it's sort of DayZ meets Halo meets Guild Wars. But there are some really interesting mechanics that they talked about. If you go check out the full trailer and sort of a video that I linked in the description, talks a bit about how the other players, so you could be playing sort of like a single player experience, but other players could be interacting and affecting your experience, and this is sort of something we haven't seen much of, and they're really trying to push the boundaries as far as that goes. Now, whilst they aren't calling it an MMO shooter, I would say what I've seen in this article, it definitely has the bare bones of an MMO. A Spartan with magical powers, character classes, and vehicles and ships, and they're drawing upon their experience with Halo and sort of taking the lore and the parts we love out of Halo and taking it into this MMO experience, where they're not calling it an MMO, but I certainly think it is. So if you go into the link in the description, you'll get to see all of the information. There's a lot of nice concept art. I'll show a bit on screen here, but definitely check that link out. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this unfolds. I mean, it definitely looks and sounds like one of the most exciting games of the year, but you know, it could just be a hyped flop, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And finally, just quick before we wrap up, I just want to talk a little bit about the DayZ standalone development, something I'm very interested in. And this week, or just yesterday actually, Dean Hall brought out a blog where he showed off some of the motion tracking that they were doing, and they've decided to completely rework every animation, and a lot of the final development will just be in your characters. Here on screen you can see that they've also released some nice screenshots showing the actual full town, a full town, and what they've done to the town, and sort of how it's changed and how every building is going to be different, although you can see in the background that the apartment blocks have been sort of ported from the mod version. So I definitely recommend you guys go and check that out, link in the description, if you want to see Dean Hall dancing around like an idiot doing his own motion track acting for his game. So I do think that's all we had time for this week in my segment where I bring you gaming news under 10 minutes that matter to me this week. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, favorite if you really enjoyed. Congratulations to the winner of our Crisis 3 giveaway that was released in our last video, so go check that out if you didn't see it. We'll be doing some more giveaways soon, and I'll see you guys next time.
Sun goes down, stars come out, and all that comes is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. When I feel you shake, chills running down your spine. See, baby, on this